How's everyone doing? So we are Augean Robotics, and my name is Charlie Anderson. Thank you so much for having us out here today. It's really a pleasure to be here. So I think there's been a consistent theme, certainly in all of my time out here, and that's that farmers, especially in this part of the world, are quite literally running out of people. Over the past decade, we've lost about 20% of our farm workforce in the US. And as a result, if you talk with nearly any farmer, especially out here in this part of the world, they will tell you that their number one issue is labor. And just to paint a further statistic surrounding that, about 62% of all hired US crop workers work in specialty crops, especially the ones that are grown out here. So if you're thinking about a labor problem in ag, it's not in the Midwest in corn and soybeans, it's in these types of crops out here. And I grew up on a working fruit and vegetable farm, hating this labor problem because I was the one doing a lot of it. And to me, I always want to sit in an air-conditioned tractor cab. I don't want to step out to weed, to pick, to prune. And from our perspective, robots are the solution to this problem. But to make this vision of completely autonomous farming a reality, we're starting first with a simple solution to a big problem, and we're taking a stepped or a phased approach. And the problem we're starting out with is this problem of autonomous material handling, and the key enabling technology there is off-road vision-based autonomy. And we're starting in material handling because if you compare farming to other industries, it becomes really clear that it's a major pain point. So specifically, if you get out there into a warehouse, there are all sorts of autonomous solutions that will rove out to shelves and pick them up and bring them to people working. So people are exclusively doing high-value tasks. They're not wasting time and energy running stuff back and forth. But when you get on farms where there are no robots and not enough people, people are often wasting 20 to 30% of each day running stuff around. And just to give you two examples of this, here you see a hand harvesting operation. Today in the US, about half of US fruit acreage is picked by hand, and oftentimes people are walking miles every day carrying what they've picked back and forth, and that starts to really add up. And then outside of hand harvesting, there are all sorts of other applications where people are repetitively moving material around, and while they might at times have equipment to do it, if they do, they have to have somebody sitting on that machine driving rather than doing high-value, high-dexterity work. So to solve this problem of wasted time and wasted energy, we have developed a solution that we call Burrow. And Burrow is a robotic platform. It follows you just like a dog, so there's no remote or beacon that you have to carry. And as it follows you, it's also able to learn the path you have traveled, which it can then rerun autonomously over and over and over again, functioning as a virtual conveyor belt from where multiple people might be picking or doing other work to a centralized collection point or distribution point. So with the Burrow today, if you're out there picking table grapes, you might have one runner for every 4 or 5 people, and that guy's costing you about $150 a day. Tomorrow with this machine, that guy can instead go pick, which provides an immediate 20% labor savings. And as you look at this platform, we view it as step one towards this, towards the progression of fully robotic farming. To enable it, we have these two key technologies. One, a vision-based deep neural network that can recognize people, and then secondly, a vision-based virtual conveyor belt function whereby it's able to localize outdoor without any sort of infrastructure being put in place. So no RTK GPS and things of that nature. And to build it, we've assembled an incredible team that's unique in that we have direct experience in robotics and computer vision as well as in farm machinery. My background, I'm a Harvard MBA. I spent 4 years with Case New Holland, Deere's largest competitor, selling and marketing machinery. Dennis, our CTO, spent the past couple of years with Cozy Robotics, where he was the lead roboticist. It was is a computer vision startup spun out of the University of Pennsylvania, where he received his PhD with a focus in outdoor autonomy. And Terry, our chief robotics officer, received his PhD from the University of Oxford, where he also focused on autonomy outdoors. And we've assembled this team to go after a large market. Today, small farm robots are emerging. Over the next decade, they're supposed to reach nearly $1 billion in market size, and then beyond that, they're supposed to triple. And we're starting in the hand-picked berries segment especially because we found a lot of customer interest. Today, we have 2 large growers who have agreed to prepay for pilots, and then we have about a dozen other ones who are also interested. And we are approaching these guys with a a very specific business model in mind. We are trying to build these things with an MSRP of around 10K. So compare an ATV, which might be around 10K, a John Deere Gator, which might be around 15 or 20. To us, that feels like about the right price point for this type of solution, and we think we can get them out there in volume. The key towards long-term autonomy is generating a lot of training data. So the more that we have our machine out there, the more robust we can make it. And then at a second stage, we intend to offer ground-level actionable data around things like plant health, yields, weeds, and pests. And ultimately, if you have a machine that can intelligently run around, it knows what to do when it gets to different places, then the ultimate step is to add autonomy implements on top that allow it to automate things completely. And in the face of this opportunity, of course, we do have competition. We have found that infrastructure-free autonomy outdoors off-road is actually a relative white space today. And we think that we can beat people into the marketplace by moving quickly. Over the past year, we've gone from an idea to a prototype that's nearing field test ready. Along the way, we've found large customer interest. We've joined Thrive and Village Capital as well. And we are aiming to get units into the marketplace by early next year. And finally, financially, we are moving quickly with scale in mind. We see a lot of macro trends at our back. Falling hardware costs, rising labor costs, and ever-increasing robotic capabilities are all trends that really favor this approach. And finally, agriculture is so ripe for robotics. Everybody say it's coming, yet there's nothing that I as a farmer or many people as a farmer can actually buy, and nobody has built a high-volume outdoor farm robotics business. We intend to build the first, and we're raising $1.5 million to launch Burrow to fund 18 months of operation and to get our machine into the market. So with that, we are Augean Robotics. John Deere started with a labor-saving plow. We are starting with a labor-saving platform and a mission to make small robots like Wally a reality on farms. Thank you so much, and I look forward to the questions. Thank you.